Good Sunday morning, Facebook and YouTube. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. What a way to start the month of February. Let me first say also happy Black History Month. Black History is 12 months out of the year, but again, it's celebrated in February. But I digress a little bit. But again, good Sunday morning to everybody. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. You are watching TFG Sports Media, the best 30-minute sports talk podcast on YouTube and Facebook. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. We got some great weather and we got some big news we got to get to. We're going to get to it. I'm live on TikTok as well. I want to thank everybody that's popping in over here on TikTok. Let's get Viking fans up in this chat. I hear you, so you're going to come make fun of me. We're going to talk NFL. We ain't going to talk a little NFL today. It's going to be more NBA. But before we get to it, make sure my friends over here on YouTube and Facebook, make sure you come in and like this live stream. Make sure you share it to all your social media platforms. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, don't be in the bushes. Comment. Let's converse. Let's talk. Let me know again where you're coming from. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channels. That is TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. And if you like to contribute, there's a little thank you button. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can contribute to the channel. Help me continue to build this sports network if you so kindly would. You're not obligated, but it would definitely help your brother out. So again, we're going to jump right into this thing because, man, let me tell you, I was sleeping good. I had me a real good night's sleep. I woke up around maybe 6 a.m., 6 a.m.ish, 6 a.m.ish. I don't know if that's a word, but it's a word now. And I was looking at my phone, and I look at this ESPN Shams Charania blockbuster trade went down between the Lakers and the Mavericks. And so, then I saw something that says that possibly his account on X had been hacked. So I'm like, wait a minute. The Mavs trade Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis? I said, no, you got to be freaking kidding me. And sure enough, I got to looking around, went to ESPN, went to Shams Charania, and lo and behold, this went down. If you didn't know, Luka Doncic is gone. He's a Laker now. They traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. The Lakers again received the 5-time All-Star Luka Doncic as well as Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. The Mavs received 10-time All-Star Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers 2029 first-round pick. Wow. Can you say wow? My man over here on TikTok says, Lakers think they finna have another ring. Not when I'm here. What's up, What's up, Jack? How you doing? This is crazy, man. And let me say this. The GM, Nico Harrison of the Mavericks, actually, they approached the Lakers about this trade a few days ago. They actually initiated this. This is freaking crazy. You trade, he about to be 26, but you trade your all-star, 25-year-old all-star. You're coming off the Western Conference Finals appearance, and you really, you brought in Klay Thompson to give you a little bit of firepower. And I was like, okay, wow. And to top it off, Nico Harrison, they initiated it. So now I'm thinking there's something going on behind the scenes with the Mavericks that we did not know about when it comes to Luka Doncic and some relationships. And what I think and what I've been reading is the Mavericks weren't happy with Luka Doncic's conditioning, and he's always having a weight issue and his defensive liabilities. That is what I read. According to Mavs GM Nico Harrison, this is a quote. He says that defense wins championships, and he wanted to get Davis, who's an all-defensive center. That is what Nico Harrison said for the GM for the Mavericks. Again, these talks were initiated by the Dallas Mavericks. Tim Rembert says Dallas Mavericks just gave up the star player, and that they did. And I was trying to think about when is the last time we've seen a trade of this magnitude in the NBA when a star player like Luka Doncic was traded. And I really couldn't think of the closest one I could really think about was Grant Hill. When the Detroit Pistons traded Grant Hill in the peak, he was only, I believe, 27 when the Pistons traded him to the Orlando Magic. My guy KJ says you have too much ISO, and the Mavs know Luka doesn't stay in shape, and that is what I'm reading. KJ, that is the talk that the Mavericks were displeased with his defense, which he was a defensive liability. What's happening? Good afternoon to you. I can't see that. I appreciate you popping in, but that was one of the issues that Jason Kidd wasn't happy with. Luka Doncic was with his defense. And we all know he wasn't ever going to be a great defensive player, but he just had to give some effort. And that was one of the issues that they had with Luka Doncic on the defensive end. Again, and then he was very ball dominant. He would dribble the air. He liked to dribble the air out the ball. Let's be honest with you. So that is the reason behind this. Now, was there some issues between Doncic and Jason Kidd? I don't know. They seem to have a pretty good relationship, as far as I know. But again, the two things that there was in reports I've read, that the Mavericks weren't happy with him always coming in not in shape. His endurance has always been shaky, and again, his weight has fluctuated, and he's been hurt quite a bit. He's had some little nicks and knacks. Matter of fact, he's only played 22 games this season. He hadn't played, I think, since after Christmas with a calf strain. And he, according to reports, at one point during this year, Luka Doncic weighed 260 pounds. That's too heavy. That's too heavy for him, man. So again, blockbuster trade went down last night. I'm still kind of shocked. The Mavs and the Lakers pull off this deal, and we'll see. Everybody gonna keep a watch on, see where these teams going. Now, right now, I was looking at the standings. The Mavs are in the 8th spot right now with a 26-23 record. The Lakers right now are in the 5th spot in the West with a 28-19 record. So what do you guys think about this trade? Who was the winner in your mind? Who you think won this? Did the Dallas Mavericks win this trade? Again, the Mavs received Anthony Davis, 10-time All-Star, one-time NBA champ. He's also, he's always nicked up. Matter of fact, he has an abdominal strain right now, so he hasn't played. The Mavs, again, received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick. The Mavs received the Mavs received Davis. The Lakers received Luka Doncic, and they received Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber. So Rakeem says Mavs is better, but I don't see any team winning. My man Cone said he thinks the Lakers won this trade deal. Just looking at it on paper, in my opinion, I would say probably the Mavericks may have won this. I think they got Davis playing at the 4 spot, which is that's where he wants to play. And I think he adds a little bit of, adds some more defense when he's healthy, when he's on the floor, and he can open up, he can score. AD can't open a door without dislocating his shoulder. I know, right? He can't stay healthy. That's the biggest issue with Anthony Davis. So again, that is the big news. It was a shock heard around the world on Saturday night. A bunch of players went on social media. They couldn't believe it. Kevin Durant said it definitely shows you that anybody is touchable. And there you go. My man Deshaun Williams says the Lakers. I think looking at it, me personally, I think the Mavericks actually on paper wins this trade. Now, here's the projected starting lineups for both clubs. Right now, this is potential. I just found this too. Rakeem says, I would have went with D Fox instead of Luka. Yeah, I would have too. The potential starting lineups here for the Mavericks. Here you go. Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes at the 3. You got Anthony Davis at the 4, and you got Daniel Gafford at the 5. That's the potential starting lineup for the Dallas Mavericks. For the Lakers, you got Luka Doncic, you got Austin Reeves, you got LeBron James at the 3, you got Dorian Finney-Smith at the 4, and Jackson Hayes at the 5. Looking at both of those lineups, the Mavericks wins hands down, you ask me. Just that's a potential. Just looking at those at the starting 5, in my opinion, the Lakers, the Mavs look better. Now, again, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. LeBron James and Luka Doncic gonna do most of the ball handling when you look at that. Vincent Mills says both of them wouldn't make it in Jordan era. Oh, they talk okay, yeah. Anybody's touchable. That's what Kevin Durant said. So again, that is the projected starting lineups for both these clubs. Again, we really won't know until we get a little deeper in the season. Again, like I said, the Mavs are sitting at the 8th spot right now at 26 and 23, and the Lakers are sitting at the 5th spot at 28 and 19. So both I really thought this was really a fake and somebody hacked it. But again, Nico Harrison, he's quick. He's quick to pull the plug, man. He's GM. Matter of fact, I think they said he has a relationship with Anthony Davis somewhat, from what I've been told. So again, that is the big news in the NBA. Which, by the way, the trading deadline is February 6th. That is coming up this Thursday. Oh, we did have another trade, by the way, happened a couple of days ago. The Clippers traded PJ Tucker and Mo Bamba to the Jazz for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills and a second-round pick and cash. That happened a couple of days ago. And speaking of which, cash, speaking of cash, Luka Doncic now is not eligible for that 5-year, 95 million max deal he could have signed this summer. Because what? Because he got traded. He would have been eligible. Again, Luka Doncic would have been eligible for a 5-year, $345 million super max deal this summer. But because of this trade, he is no longer eligible for that super max deal. Now, the Lakers and the Mavericks do play twice this season. In a couple of they play in a couple of weeks, and then I think again they play in March sometime. So Dior says Jimmy is getting traded to the Dallas Mavericks. And you know what, Jimmy? It's funny you said that. Yer says that we're using the first round to trade for him. We're gonna. Speaking of which, that's a definitely good segue, because let's move on to, speaking of Jimmy get buckets, Butler. Jimmy the Butler did it, and the heat is on for Jimmy Butler. If you don't know, he was suspended not once, not twice, but 3 times. A lady. You know who sung that song? The Commodores. Anyway, I digress. I'm telling my age now. But again, Jimmy Butler has been suspended for the 3rd time by the Heat organization. And again, this marriage, this relationship, it's a wrap for it. Back in December, I believe, Jimmy made it known that he wants out of South Beach. President of basketball operations, Pat Riley, would come on and refute and say he ain't moving, he ain't going nowhere. Then he gets suspended for 7 games for conduct detrimental to the team, according to reports that he wasn't given 110% when he came back. And then back in early January, he would be suspended 2 games for missing the team flight to the Milwaukee. They had the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. Then his last suspension is because he walked out of practice after being told that he would be coming off the bench. And that is a wrap for Jimmy Butler in Miami. Now, who it's going to take a lot to get him. I think it's going to have to be a 3rd team involved. Speaking of 3rd team, I didn't mention previously the Mavericks Lakers trade. There was a 3rd team involved in that. The Utah Jazz was involved, but nobody really cares about that. The big names was Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. But again, so Butler is suspended again. For at least 5 games. He's going to lose $532,737 per game under this latest suspension. Again, so where will he end up? We all know that his agent put out there that Phoenix is one of his destinations that he would like to end up. Also, the Dallas Mavericks was one of the names that came up. Dane says Jimmy trade value at an all-time low, so it may not take much to get him. And I agree with that. Speaking of, I'm glad you brought that up, Dane, because the 35-year-old, he's missed quite a few games this season, due to suspension and some injuries too. But he's played for the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the 76ers, and the Heat. Again, he's 35. This is his 14th season. He was drafted 30th overall. He was a first-round pick by the Bulls in 2011. Again, he's a 6-time All-Star. And he was the NBA Most Improved Player in 2015. He did take this Heat organization to 2 NBA finals. And when he was healthy, he was that dude. Defensively, he was a dog on the defensive end, and he could get his shot either way he wanted to. Golden State is another a name that has been mentioned, that possibly destination for Jimmy Butler. So we'll see. Thanks for the follow. I can't see who that is. I appreciate the follow. Make sure y'all tap that screen, share this live, and click the follow button if you haven't already on TikTok. So again, he's been suspended for the 3rd time. Yer says Jimmy wants a championship, though. He does, but you know, my thing now, man, his conduct. I mean, you're a veteran. You're a veteran, man. You've been in this game 14 years, man, and you got, there's just certain things, man, you got to be professional about. I get it. I get it. The NBA is a players' league. A lot of times these guys force their way out of a situation. I get that. That's just the way it goes. But when you're dealing with Hall of Famer Pat Riley, man, he don't play that. So, you know, once you kind of burn that bridge with him, that's a wrap, you know. Yer said he old. He doesn't want to rebuild over that. Yep, because he made it perfectly clear he wants to go to a veteran team. He desperately he wants a championship. So again, I think he would definitely could bring something to a veteran team. I think so. I think he could bring something, but I don't know if he's that guy. I think he's probably more of a role player now. And here's the thing: a lot of times when guys have been stars, again, he's a 6-time All-Star. Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He took this team. When you've been that dude, it's kind of hard to accept the role. But I think if it's the right fit, it'll happen. So we don't. We will see. Again, will Pat Riley trade him out of the East? Most likely. I think that's the main thing. I think, you know, and I think he definitely wants to get something in return. I know the big talk was about, you know, Phoenix and Bradley Beal would be the guy that they would want, but Bradley Beal has a no trade clause in his contract, so he would definitely have to nix that, forego that if it happens. Sterling says, "Do you think Jordan Love is our guy?" I actually do, Sterling. You know, 2nd year. He had some nicks, you know, had that knee injury the first game. He's still on the learning curve. I think you got to give guys like him, give him another year or two. But I do think Jordan Love is that guy. Yer says, to be fair, I don't think Luka stays with Lakers. That's an interesting point, Yer, because again, he just lost a bunch of money being traded. If y'all didn't hear, he was going to be eligible for that 5-year, $345 million Supermax deal this summer. But now, where it's going to be different. Yeah, he's a free agent next season. Exactly, Yer. So what will the Lakers do? I mean, again, I don't think LeBron has – maybe he has another year left. I don't know. We don't know if LeBron is going to be there next year or not. But I guess the Lakers said, you know, let's go ahead and get this 25-year-old who's soon to be 26, at least to give us something if LeBron decides to retire after this season. So again, but back to Jimmy Butler. I think he's going to end up in the West somewhere. I do. I don't think Riley's going to trade him to a team in the East. And so we're going to keep our eye on this again. The trade deadline is February 6th. Keep your ears open for De'Aaron Fox for the Sacramento Kings. He wants out too. He wants to be a Spur, according to what I've read as well. So keep your eye out. Keep it locked here. We're going to definitely do something on the trade deadline if something crazy jumps off on February 6th. Now, let's shift gears to a more serious topic. We got to talk about Ravens kicker Justin Tucker about these allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior with these massage therapists. Now, according to reports on yesterday, another report from the Baltimore Banner says that 3 more women have come forward and said that Justin Tucker made some inappropriate sexual behavior while getting massages at a couple of Baltimore area massage centers. Now, this, according to reports, it either makes 9 or 10. So we're just going to say several. One report is saying it is now up to 9 women that's came up with these allegations. Another report is saying it's been 10. Yer says Luka going to tank this season. If he can get on the court, he's been nicked up too. So he's got to get in better conditioning. But so Again, all these incidents allegedly occurred between 2012 and 2016. An owner of one of the spas says that they was unaware of any of these complaints made against Tucker and some of the inappropriate activities that he had going on. A lot of it's graphic. You can go read the article if you want. We ain't gonna talk about that too much. But the NFL and the Ravens, they are monitoring this situation. There hasn't been any criminal charges brought forth because it's outside of the statute of the limitation. So there cannot be any criminal charges brought against Justin Tucker. But I'm sure there will be some civil lawsuits brought from these women, and I'm sure they probably have already hired Tony Busby, who is the same lawyer that represented those women that accused former Texan quarterback, now a Brown quarterback, Deshaun Watson, of some of these same activities as massage centers. So my thoughts on this, can these guys get? Do NFL teams actually hire massage therapists or on staff? Because at this point, I think maybe these guys need to start using the team hired massage therapists or whatever if they have them. Now, again, that activity could still go on. I'm not saying it couldn't happen even with that. So I don't. At this point, these are all allegations. My guy says, "Do you believe them?" I'll be perfectly honest with you. I really don't. I think this is another money grab situation. I think you're gonna wait. It happened. They said it happened between 2012 and 2016. So we're looking about 13 years ago. I'm like, why now? Why didn't these accusations come up then? And then one of the managers of the spa said that no one reported any inappropriate activity with Justin Tucker to him at the owner of one of these spa massage centers. So I mean, I don't know. Again, there's no criminal. They didn't go to the police, according to this report. Now, again, you can go read the report. It's in the Baltimore Banner. That's who reported this. They did this big, long investigative piece on it. It's in the Baltimore Banner, and they said none of these women. Now, I don't know about these last three, but the six, none of them reported any of this to the police. None of them. So now, what do it sound like to you? Sound like a money grab. And my thing is, here's the thing. Make sure you dot all your I's and cross your T's, because I hate to have men get accused of something that really wasn't true. That's the thing. Here's the thing now. If this is out there now, just like with Deshaun Watson, even though he settled those civil suits with those women, there's still going to be, in the court of public opinion, people still think Deshaun Watson is guilty. Just like this Justin Tucker situation. He's probably going to settle because the civil suits are coming. But at the end of the day, in the court of opinion, people are going to believe he's still guilty no matter what. Yeah, my man says, waiting that long, didn't they win the Super Bowl? Yep, they did win the Super Bowl in 2012. That would have been mainstream news. You're exactly right. So, unfortunately, and my man Mogi, you got it on TikTok, you're guilty until proven innocent. So, again, the NFL Brian McCarthy came out with a statement, said they are monitoring this. They are checking into some of these details, as well as the Ravens. They are checking into it as well. Because right now, I mean, technically, he could get suspended if they find, and once the investigation is done, for violating the NFL personal conduct policy. You remember, Deshaun Watson was suspended, 11 games? He was suspended 11 games. So Justin Tucker could be facing some suspension, even if he's not guilty of any of these alleged actions. So again, a 35-year-old Tucker, he's a seven-time Pro Bowler. He did win the Super Bowl. He's only been played with the Ravens his whole career. He was drafted out of Texas. He's the most accurate kicker in NFL history, by the way. And he did win a Super Bowl in 2012. So we're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep you posted on that if anything else comes up. Now, our last segment, our last story for the day, I wanted to end with something like Bill Belichick. He was on a podcast with Jim Gray, and they were talking about the Super Bowl and talking about the Lombardi Trophy. Speaking of the Lombardi Trophy, it is named after the late, great head coach Vince Lombardi of my Green Bay Packers. And oh, by the way, I got to say this before I get out of here. It's always a great day to be what? A Green Bay Packers fan. But anyway, back to this story. And he was talking to Bill Belichick, and they were talking about Belichick was saying how, he don't think that trophy should be named after coaches because it's the players. If you don't have the great players, then you don't win championships. And I agree with that. Mo says, you think if they would have went to the Super Bowl yesterday, that news would still come out? You know what? I really don't know, Mo. I really don't know, because it's interesting of the timing of this Baltimore banner expose. You're right. I think they would have sat on it, Mo. I really do. Because obviously this newspaper who's investigated this, they could release it whenever they wanted to. They could have just sat on it. And I believe they would have sat on it too if the Ravens would have made it to the Super Bowl. Damn good thought. I think you're right. And speaking of the Super Bowl, so the Lombardi Trophy, Belichick says that he think maybe it should be changed to the Brady Trophy. And a lot of people may agree with him. People forget the news about Deshaun Watson came out when he and the owner were arguing. Yeah, that's true. So I got to thinking about the Lombardi, because as being a Packer fan, me personally, Lombardi, it was named after him in 1970 after his death. The Packers played in the first two Super Bowls, Super Bowl I, Super Bowl II. They won the first one over the Chiefs, and they won the second one over the Raiders. And then they decided to name it after the late Hall of Fame coach Vince Lombardi. But I got to thinking, if we were to change the Lombardi Trophy name, and I'm saying if, and it shouldn't be changed, it should stay, in my opinion, should stay Lombardi. What players should it be named after? Obviously, Tom Brady is definitely on my list. Hell, he done been to 10. He done won 7. So definitely Tom Brady. And I really got to thinking, what other players? And I really thought about it this morning too. Possibly Jerry Rice name could be on that list. 4 Super Bowls. He's 4-0 as well, I believe. As well as Joe Montana, 4-0 in Super Bowls, undefeated. So those 3 kind of the ones I'm like, well, if you were to change it, I could possibly see that. Then there's another one that a lot of people don't realize that I think it could be named after him. Somebody in the comments on the story I originally posted, they said Lawrence Taylor, which I think Lawrence Taylor is the greatest outside linebacker to ever play the game, possibly linebacker, period. But I don't, as far as Super Bowls, obviously he got 2 with the Giants. I don't think I would think about Lawrence Taylor's name being on the Super Bowl trophy. But I got to think about Charles Haley. And I know people saying, where the hell did that name come from? Why Charles Haley? Well, because he is the first player in NFL history to win 5 Super Bowls. Prior to Brady with his 7, he was the guy. He won 5 with 2 different franchises. He won 2 with San Francisco, and he won 3 with the Dallas Cowboys. So if I were to change, if they were thinking about changing it from the Lombardi Trophy to name it after a player, I think the players that only could possibly be would be Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Charles Haley, and possibly Jerry Rice. That's just my opinion. I'd like to know yours. If they decide to change that, what player's name should be on that? And speaking of the Super Bowl, next Sunday I will be doing my Super Bowl show. Hopefully I have a live guest, my good brother Michael Coleman, who is the KLTV, the sports director at KLTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas. He is going to the Super Bowl. He is going to be covering Patrick Mahomes, who's looking to win his 4th Super Bowl and make it 3 in a row, which would be the first time it's ever been done. Well, Patrick Mahomes is from East Texas. He's from White House, Texas, which is right outside Tyler, Texas, which is an hour and about 30 minutes east of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So he's going to be live, and he's going to be in New Orleans. Hopefully I can get him live next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. so we can talk all Super Bowl. Speaking of which, again, Super Bowl 59 is going down. Kansas City Chiefs, AFC champs, versus the Eagles, the NFC champs. This is a rematch of Super Bowl 57. So next Sunday, we're going to be talking all Super Bowl, the whole show. So make sure you tune in and catch that with me. Hopefully I can have Michael with me. If not, the show must go on. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Again, you've been watching TFG Sports Media, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel right here on YouTube. That is TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SporTZ, HUSTLE. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. You can follow me, my personal page on Facebook, Kendrick Roland Henderson. You can follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969. And you can follow me on TikTok. That is Kendrick Henderson 51. So again, I want to thank you all for popping in and joining me here. Make sure you catch me here next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. We're talking all Super Bowl. And I got some Super Bowl history facts for you, too. We're going to have a little fun. So, again, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell to be alerted when new live streams, new content is uploaded, and all that good stuff. So, again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will catch you here next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I am out. Peace.